The wow signal. On a warm August evening in 1977, at Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope, astronomer Jerry Eman began his routine task, cycling through data readings as he did countless times before. But what unfolded would soon become one of the greatest scientific mysteries and enigmatic moments in humanity's ongoing search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Big Ear was a mammoth fixed-array radio telescope, a monument to curiosity and wonder, scanning the dark, silent voids above for narrowband radio signals, tiny whispers, in a frequency deliberately protected for such searches, around 1420 megahertz. This frequency is not arbitrary. It matches the natural emission of neutral hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, chosen in the hope that other intelligent civilizations might use it as a universal hailing frequency. That August night, as the Earth turned gently beneath the telescope's gaze, something extraordinary happened. In a brief 72-second window, the telescope detected an intense narrowband spike, so much stronger than the background noise, so perfectly tuned that it leapt from the page. The data printouts, the technology of the time, had numbers and letters corresponding to signal intensity. The highest readings were marked with letters. One particular sequence stood out, 6EQUJ5. Astounded by the sheer clarity of the spike, Eamon circled the sequence in red ink and scribbled the now famous exclamation, "Wow!" Was this it? Was it a beacon, a technological signature of intelligence in the cosmos, finally within reach? The wow signal, as it came to be called, instantly gripped scientists and the public alike, embodying a pulse-quickening hope that we might, just might, not be alone. The signal's duration, precisely matching the time a fixed point in the sky would remain in the telescope's field of view due to Earth's rotation, implied a continuous, unbroken transmission from space. But when astronomers swung Big Ear back toward the same sky region, located between the constellations Sagittarius and Capricornus, they heard silence. Multiple follow-up observations over months and years revealed nothing. The signal did not repeat. What, then, was the wow signal? Theories have abounded, each speculative, none definitive. Some cling to hope. It was artificial, a deliberate message, perhaps transmitted across the vast silence. Others suggest more mundane possibilities. A secret military satellite, a reflection from space debris, or an as-yet unknown natural cosmic phenomenon. But no earthly source has been confirmed. The Ohio State team and generations of astronomers since have pored over archives, checked military and civilian records, and proposed and discarded theory after theory. The powerful, isolated nature of the signal, its narrow band, its alignment with the hydrogen line, remains impossible to dismiss. What makes the wow signal so uniquely tantalizing is not simply its technical details, but its context in our ongoing search. In the 1970s, humans were just beginning to reach outward, sending radio signals, listening with ever more sensitive antennas, constructing databases for potential signals. In all these decades, despite increasingly powerful technology and vigilant eyes and ears on the sky, nothing quite like the wow signal has ever been found again. Why would a message, if it was one, come only once, as if whispered by a shy, fleeting presence? Suppose it was an alien civilization, curious, listening for others. They may have chosen to broadcast in brief, energy-efficient bursts. They may rotate their transmitters, focusing their power only periodically on any one patch of sky. Or perhaps it was a probe, passing through a momentary alignment. Or perhaps, and this chills the spine, the message wasn't intended for us at all, an echo of unimagined events far across the interstellar void. By the 1970s, Earth's own technological footprint was scant. A few decades of strong radio and TV broadcasts escaping, little more than a faint shell surrounding our world. Our signals, as they travel outward, weaken, dispersing amid the cosmic static. The wow signal, if it came from beyond the stars, could have originated decades, centuries, or millennia earlier, broadcast from a civilization that may no longer exist, or one whose technology, purposes, and fate we can scarcely imagine. How would such a civilization hope their signals might reach us? Would they expect us to respond? To decode a message and send our own reply, announcing, "We are here, we hear you." Perhaps the greatest challenge is linguistic. How do you craft a message meant to be understood by minds which might resemble nothing in human experience? Scientists and artists have long pondered these questions, designing messages for the stars. The Arecibo message, radioed into space in 1974, was a simple series of binary digits describing numbers, human DNA, our solar system. The Voyager Golden Record, launched in 1977, the same year as the WOW signal, was a golden disc containing music, greetings, and images chosen as universal markers, an interstellar greeting card hurtling into the void. But compared to these, the WOW signal was unintentional on our end. It was a message, if it was a message, that came to us, not a greeting we sent out. We could only listen and hope to understand. Yet the silence remains, vast and solemn. The WOW signal stands alone, a single data point, thrilling, elusive, unreproducible. What if it was simply a cosmic accident? A perfectly timed alignment, a reflection off an asteroid, an unknown astrophysical process, something new to science. What of the possibility, dizzying in its implications, that the WOW signal was a greeting meant only for us? Would its sender be waiting, watching for a reply, still or already long gone? The great silence might not be indifference. It might be a mismatch of technology, of timing, of perception. Our instruments, even at their most sensitive, catch only narrow slices of the spectrum. The vast majority of electromagnetic communication in the universe, if it exists, might be outside our reach, or in modes we have not yet dreamed to look for. Civilizations may whisper in the language of neutrinos, or gravitational waves, or quantum entanglement. Our waiting silence might be akin to tuning an old radio to the wrong band, expecting a symphony and hearing only static. But suppose for a moment it was deliberate. They sent out a pulse on the hydrogen line in a format echoing the universality of the cosmos, perhaps as a test, or simply a ping to see if anyone was there. Or perhaps they too are alone, isolated on their world, sending out signals caught between hope and futility. It is the same hope that has drawn humanity time and again to send our own messages into space. The hope that intelligence is not an anomaly, but a pattern, that we are reflections of each other, not cosmic accidents. The WOW signal, mysterious as it is, calls humanity to patience, to humility, and to continued curiosity. In its suddenness, coming once and only once, it reminds us that the universe does not answer to our timetables. The cosmic haystack, as Frank Drake called it, is unimaginably vast. To search the skies for needles, signals, technosignatures, cosmic fingerprints, is to contend with the hugeness of time and distance. But it also calls us to hope. For as long as the WOW signal endures in our scientific memory, it sustains an optimism that observation and patience can yet yield wonders. Even if, in the end, we are forced to conclude that the WOW signal was a strange fluke, an accident of physics or technology, it will have done its work. It has inspired decades of careful search, creative new approaches, and philosophical reflection. It has provided a rallying point for the question, are we alone? Is anyone out there? Human beings, with all our technology, have only barely begun to listen. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Our search, measured in less than a human lifetime, is a blink, a breath. There are 400 billion stars in our galaxy, and perhaps 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Each new telescope, each new detector, increases our cosmic footprint, our attention on the infinite dark. Perhaps, decades or centuries from now, another signal will be heard, clear, strong, repeating, erasing uncertainty. Or perhaps, even more faintly, new whispers will show up in the data, scattered and rare, each requiring a leap of faith and a new vocabulary of discovery. Today, when we look back on that 1977 summer night, we see a confluence of humanity's strengths. Curiosity, diligence, the hope that you can find order in the deep randomness of nature. The Big Ear telescope has long since been dismantled, fields covering where it once stood, yet the legacy of its watchfulness endures. In the end, whether the WOW signal came from a distant, tool-wielding mind or from the happenstance of natural forces, its effect is clear. It is an emblem of humility in our search, a reset of scientific patience, and most importantly, a call to keep searching, to keep wondering, to keep listening. The question, is someone out there waiting for a response, remains alive, electric with hope. In the face of silence, we answer in the only way we know how, by reaching further, by building new arrays, refining our methods, and perhaps most crucially, remaining open to possibilities we cannot yet imagine. For in the long run, it is not the answer, but the act of searching, the willingness to hear the unknown, that most defines us. The wow signal is a distant echo reminding us of this, a brief note in a cosmic song. Perhaps one day we will hear another verse and finally join the conversation across the stars.